Roof plumbing. We've now got up to this section, and so we've got 5 main things that we need to actually look at in regards to roof plumbing. And they are: number 1, calculate from the supplied plan the COLORBOND roof iron as specified. Calculate the length of all the ridges and barge caps. Calculate the gutter lengths and valley flashings. Calculate the blanket insulation for the entire roof area. And finally, allow for all fixings, sealant and touch-up spray. You've got 2 resources that we can use. I've got a Cordell Student Edition, which all of you have got access to. There is a link to that, and there's also manufacturer's handout manual. Okay, slide 2. I've downloaded a Fielders sheet from their website. Up here is the link, http://fielders.com.au, products, roofing and walling. By all means, click onto this, and we've got steps 1, 2, 3. So first of all, once you get onto this page, click on products, and once you click on products, up will come all the different types of iron we've got down here, and then you can actually look at this. And what we need to look at is the manual for SRIB, which is corrugated iron. Now this is a great resource, so you can put this into your digital library. We're also building N3 on this job, so that means it's non-cyclonic, so that means we need to make sure that we download this fellow here, which my arrow points to. Alright, so you've got your link to the site, you've got your link to the page, and I've showed a couple of pictures here so that you know that you're on the right page. What else do you need? Which layout plan from carpentry that we've already worked on? Let's have a look at the next slide to find out. Okay, you would all remember this one, and when you were working out all your timber work, we use this plan. So I think this is an ideal one that you could print out at A4, and you could actually go through and put all your dimensions here. I'm just going to run you through a little small cheat, but generally what I would do in a takeoff situation like this is just have this on my desk and go around and just put my lengths against all the members like this in red, so it stands out from the actual colors, and you can then calculate the length of the roof iron and all those other pieces that we need to calculate. A small cheat for calculating rafter and hip lengths. Now most of you know this, especially if you're in the class. I've also put this in some of the Moodle emails that I've sent out to classes, but we'll go through it again. At 30 degrees in the Staines Roofing Manual, they have a really good system for working out rafter lengths. And a quick cheat for chippies is that you could actually have a look at the half span or the span of the rafter at 1 meter. The actual hypotenuse, the angle length, is 1155. So what we can do is shift our decimal place 3 to every 1 millimeter the length increases on the incline 1.155. So that's all you really need. So on your workbench, you would actually have that figure, and you could take a span divided by 2 and cut your rafter, or times that by 2, times it by 1.155, and there's your rafter length. If it was a hip, it's actually 1.528 per millimeter. Now Staines is the only book that works this way, and so make sure that you stick to this book if you're going to actually try and use these little ones, but this will actually make it easier. So here's the calc for the overall major span. So we already know that the entire structure from brick face to brick face on this end here is 10 meter and 69. Our major span is only between this wall and this wall. Okay, so that is 10 meters and 69 minus 1800, which gives us 8 meters 269. What we need to add to that is the eaves, which is 300 either side, 300 here and 300 here. So there it is there, 8269 plus the eaves overhang, 600, 8869. So 8869 divided by 2 gives us a half span of 4 meters 435. Now that is the distance that this red arrow indicates from there to there. So once we actually have that, to calculate the length of the iron, our formula, 4 meters 435 times 1.155 gives us 5 meters 122. Now we need to allow a little bit of overhang into the gutter, generally 50 mil. So that rounds this up to 5 meters 172 is our iron length here and also here. And so that's probably one of the major ones. For working out hips, we can do the same thing, 4 meters 435 times 1.528, and that will then give us the length of our hip right down here. And this is calculating our hip ridge caps. Okay, so you've got hip caps and you've got valley caps and you've also got ridge caps. Now these are not so big a deal. You can actually work those out fairly easily. So I'm going to leave you to work out these. We're going to go on to the next slide, and in red I've actually put the other spans that we need to cover. Okay, here they are. So we've just finished these two. You have to work out these, this one through here, this section through here, and this section through here. Okay, so let's bring this all together. Number one, we need to calculate the amount of roofing iron. The effective cover is 760 per sheet. Number three, hips, 4 valleys, barges, ridge caps, gutters. How many? There's one here, DP, downpipe. Okay, so we've got downpipes and then we've also got gutters. How do we calculate the gutters? Just simply total length of the building right through to here, from outside of this column to outside of this brickwork, and then add 600, and that'll give us our total length. Now we're not concerned about the fixing details. What we are concerned about is making sure that we have enough gutter. So when you calculate that length, then you add 300 mil, and that gives us plenty of room for any bends or folds or anything like that. Okay, so gutters and downpipe. Vent penetration. We've got a vent that comes up about here. So we need to actually allow for some flashings to go around that vent. Once you've worked out the total area of iron, you pretty easily can work out the total blanket insulation square meter rate. And so we can do that one. All right, number of fixings. So we could actually go back to our other plan, except it doesn't like me doing that. So, and on that plan has the amount of runs of purlins, and so then you can work out the number of screws per sheet and then times that by the number of sheets that you have. So that's the fixings. That's another one for you. I noticed we need to allow for some sealant, and we also need to allow for some touch-up. So when you've got all these figures, and they can all go on this sheet, this could be called your working figures. This goes up in conjunction with your takeoff. So let's look at our next page, where we're actually going to look at the takeoff. At first appearance, it looks daunting, but it's quite simply how many downpipes? There's 7. You need to calculate how many linear meters of downpipe you need per each installation, and then times that there's a red figure that we need to actually put downpipes into the main spreadsheet. Here's the number of segments of all the different iron, and you just start at your longest, which is probably my tip over here. List the longest lengths first. So the ones that I've already done in 2 slides ago, put those in here, and then work your way down doing all the difference, and you'll find that this will line up pretty well. Totally, what we're looking at is the total corrugated COLORBOND roofing length, and you can put that in lineal meters. The other thing you could do, and it's not really essential, but the total number of sheets. All right, square tail barge, what is that? That's the flashing that goes over the barges, and we've got two sets of barges, and so you can cover each of those. All right, up here, safety. We need to actually allow for a guardrail around the outside of the house. Times have changed. In the 70s, everyone would just get up on a roof, and if you fell off, you're an idiot and it was your fault. Nowadays, it's by legality, as soon as we're above 2 meters, you have to have a handrail. So we need to supply that. It's not necessarily part of the roofing, but it is a part of, it will go in our preliminary figures, but you'll be able to work out the amount of guardrails. Here's a hint for you. Check your gutter lengths. Okay, valley flashings. Here's our metal gutter. Okay, so once you actually work this out, that will give you the length of these. Should match up pretty close. All right, ridge caps. Here's our blanket, and then final clips. So we're looking at 2 clips per downpipe, and we already know there's 7, so that means obviously that's going to be 14. All right. Your live copy of this document will be in the plumbing resources folder, and by now you're probably thinking this is a lot, and I couldn't help thinking right from our first lesson where I said that whenever you're doing an estimate, you know, you've got to cover every bit. Well, thank heavens we're not listing the 6 million parts of a jumbo jet, and we forgot the wings. All right, all for now. I hope that's an assistance to you, especially the external students, and we've got a few more of these to do that will be entered into our course.